Yeah, and here's a final events and energies update for today. We are still in February. It is the 10th, and we are in year 2022. And we've already revealed the whole, fraud for Catholic scheme and everything. And then they was trying to get into another zone. I got some visions last night. So the situation behind May's coma, purpura thing, and everything else was, according to what I'm getting, they had the so-called Stephen Jared Thompson being show up there, and they told her he's her dad that came back from heaven, and they was using her sex and getting him in there, and then he wouldn't ejaculate in her, he would just ejaculate in the mouth of his Russian girlfriend. And that's how they was manipulating my power at a distance, using my mother's body with rituals and the brothers and everything. And she would, believe it, because, she's under the inducing effect of certain things. So she would believe it, because now I don't know if something was done to her during her childhood as well in these general outlines, but she would believe that he's, her father from heaven here. And then but she would cry, because I also saw that they would display the photos that Forsyth was taken of me, so that they can get her love feeling toward me, because she was disconnected through that device here. Her brain-heart connection was completely disconnected, so she can feel something in her heart, but the brain is thinking other things. So her brain knew that I was being abused here and suffering, but her, she was getting hot anyway, and then they would drink the period blood and everything else like that. Is how the story went. And then how they created the Aurora Vivo and beyond, the whole timeline storyline. And that's what I got. So that's the reason, that's the whole Julia Roberts thing, and Rob, the lawyer who met me here, now I'm with the same frequency living situation, and Rob meaning steal, robbery. So that was all meant for them to eventually rob, because they don't know her or love her. They don't know the being. They don't know my mother. They just used her to simultaneously use me. That's why the whole inhumane thing was going on, because they don't relate to us as human beings. They thought we was just going to be the sacrificial lamb for the church and the synagogue and the, whatever else. Now, in those terms, I legit this time now, I honestly have Florida and Islam to thank, and Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever else I went into, because I went into the whole thing, because had I not done these practices and studies, and because I put myself through each of them as one of them, I live it. When I embraced Islam at some point, I did it really well. I wear the hijab, and I did the 5-time prayer a day. I used to put my alarm to the T to do the 5 times, and do everything as such. So I started to get how the jinns work and how they channel information from heaven to earth, and how they are our gossip spies. And then simultaneously later, when they had me here at the Chris Cado Wood Lake place in their parking lot, and they were doing rituals in there with the fake Justin, fake, Haley, they're spanking, and I'm being kept there just drugged. They'll put this a powder that'll give them full access to my vessel in my food, so that they can fuck, and I may pretend it's me, so that they can take my cows, and then they can and that's how they went there and got married. And then the plan with Chris Cado was to then make pretend that, oh my god, it's his TD Bank who's paying for my Planet Fitness for Raw Diamond Dream, the Morning Star. and I'm just like some fraud from nowhere that came here from like Hollywood, LA, and I just came here because I'm a thief. They made up a whole storyline where I look like the bad guy when they've been like robbing, like now that they gave, you know, Christina the October 5 Jerusalem and they wanted to stick me with the October 6 Beirut. They had her dance under that ID, so then they wanted to put it all on that ID and say that I'm the identity thief fraud, since already Amber is already Aurora Diamond Rainbow, so there's no more of that. They have a Victoria Diaz for Dimata Bravo October 5, so they're just gonna do the shift for Toti for like Aurora Diamond Rainbow Morningstar, and then, you know, I'm nowhere to be found because I'm already incarcerated, and all the Atlanteans was in on it. You know, there was all lying to me. There was all like trying to make, you know, me showing, like, if I had shown my green card a month ago over Christmas at AT&T, I would have already received my funds and I would have been free. Now, if I show it, I'm going to be stuck with that, my maiden identity for life. I'm never going to be the resurrection. So they like low below the belt, like trick me on the low, like all of them and all their partners. They'll manipulate me to like make sure to scare me that day to go there, or so that I miss the mark every time. Now I'm completely disconnecting from everything so that I regain my sharpness, because I've noticed that, you know, there's no such thing. I mean, it's you and you, and nobody loves you, likes you. If you got anything going on, they're gonna want to steal it, rob it, and you know, if you're like intelligent, way like ahead of the curve, nobody's gonna like want to even know you because they're gonna want to be you and so like that. I know this truth, I know this story, I'm hip, I got it. I used to be more of a, you know, being that wanted to be treated the way I treat others. Now I know that this is just never gonna happen. So this is the sad story with my mom that I channeled yesterday night, on how they had, you know, the power go somewhere else, and probably it was also being done by other beings, also, you know, and being given to other femmes too, for all these femmes to have, you know, mastered the art of just getting married under my name with no consideration to me crying or being drugged next door. Like Nashville, Tennessee, the cops came, I was yelling, you know, on the grass over there in Spring Hills for days. So I was really badly poisoned by those Taco Bell Capricorn workers who put like heroin in my food. I don't even know what they put, Crystal. I don't even know what they put in my food, but it makes me very dizzy and I can't move anymore. And literally there was a spider crawling up me, and normally I have a phobia, like I don't really enjoy bugs, but I was literally able to look into the spider's eyes and I wasn't able to move it away. I was so badly drugged by those people in Tennessee, and all the police could do is, "Ma'am, are you okay?" Because some people heard screaming loud all night long. Well, yeah. Let alone, you know, let's not mention what was happening when the Amber and Russell thing got married in Beirut, let alone in Vegas for the Steven and the Tatiano, and, you know, I was out in the cold. You can't sleep in Vegas. Like, you can't even... So I had to be staying awake for 4 nights, and I had no funds. They had stolen everything in Memphis, Tennessee. And I'm still alive after all this, and all the rest of them that hosted me here in Hilton World and everything, they all have the same mentality. You know, if I'm not subservient to giving them my power the way they want me to do, they're gonna wanna, you know, participate with each other to make this plan of incarceration so that they can all steal my funds and, you know, think that that's for the better, because they're gonna prove it with all these fake arguments about, you know, sending me Ohio guys, and if I don't fuck them, then, you know, they're gonna want to walk down with me so the camera can see that I'm leaving a property, so that they can say that, yeah, she's a prostitute and she's a stripper and she's a thief and this, that. And I don't do nothing. I'm the biggest saint. They do all the bad things and they want to blame it all on me. They think the scapegoat thing is gonna work. It's not. Nor is the black sheep thing. I'm none of the above. I mean, and then the tarot people start to project that on me too, to justify the other people because they're lost. And the tarot people think that the other people are their moms. And like yesterday, this tarot girl from like Angelic Guidance 444 is like, because I go to Forsyth's house, you know, my session kids, they can express themselves the way they want. I've already given sessions in Tennessee, Nashville. You know, the manager of the property was in my room, and you know, he had it in him. He was an older man, and he completely open to all the codes of the garden of Aurora, meaning naked under the tree, completely innocent, you know, childlike. Finally, he's like, I've never ever met anything like you before, or your energy. He completely removed all his codes. He's like, aren't you gonna do something for me? I'm like, No, that's you and you. I give you back your power. I don't steal sperm, nor do I steal pleasure, nor do I. This is not my position. So I provide them the, you know, Atlantean checklist. They'll just go through burning their ego, reattach a heart-brain connection through the light plasma tech surgery, which is restructured for each case according to whatever they need, like whatever light scheme colors they need for every organ. 72 hours later, it's a carbon to ether shift, provided they get that if you stay in ego, you're not going to attain, and you're going to get worse than you were when you first started off, because now you got, you know, hip, and your angelic teams are working on your behalf. If you don't respond, you're going to go to hell instead of heaven. So that's why I tell people, you know, if you're not into actually, you know, heaven on earth and the tech, just stay away, gossip, and just don't try to come my way, because you're going to harm yourself. And if you think I'm going to like touch you and no, I'll be harming you, because I'm a divine being, and if I do these things to you, it's going to be triple viewed by the Confederates, and it's going to bounce back your way, because it's never me. It's never my fault. I'm pure mirror reflection here. You can never blame anything on me. You can try, but eventually divine intelligence surpasses federal intelligence by every means. Like, there's nothing the federals did not try on me. Frauding paperwork, signatures, insurance policies to try to kill me, to steal the money, yada, yada, yada. Next, thank you so much, Colorado. They're trying to send some, you know, love my way. That is very sweet of you all. So that's the way, you know, May was done. And yes, she was shown all the pictures of Forsyth every time, like, he took pictures of me, so that, like, her heart opens and she falls in love with me, because my mother loves me with all her being. Like, when I entered her room, the heart opened so wide. And then when the uncle came, she had a natural, like, you know, to protect me. Like, even though she was being abused by them, she didn't want them to abuse me. Even in her comatic mode, she didn't want to see me abused or harmed at any point. So she's like, she protected me for me to run. When I went to save her, she saved me first. That's how grand and great her love is. And nobody can take that away and, you know, send a fake guy, tell her he's your dad. Because apparently when they killed Fuad, you know, with a so-called heart, it was a magic ritual where they took his essence, put it in this being called Stephen Thompson, for him to later do these things. And my uncles are dumb. Like, my uncles now, they was shown to me, they're like, they became street kids. Like, you know, those just dirty street kids that just go and do dirty things on the road. I think my uncles became really evil, like just crazy because of these facts. So it's a very unfortunate story. You know, my grandmother and grandfather were miraculous beings. I mean, my grandfather was charismatic, magnetic, magnanimous, everything, you know, a true legend. And they took all his legendary aspects and turned it into like a magic spell that they put in someone else for him to give all of the like that in other vessels like Spain, Russia, whatever else, for them to run and like mock me later, because they think it's very, you know, funny to bully a mother and her daughter when we're divine beings, because they think it's cool, but it's not. So here we go. I love you all with all of my heart, and trust me, this whole 2A agenda or whatever is not going to remain or maintain. I mean, if my dad fucks an Amber, it's not going to make her me. I don't care what the cops tell me, oh, she's your friend, she's not your friend. This doesn't exist. Get hip or die trying. Peace on earth. Hey, heaven on earth.